We are live.
Yay! All right, let's. Lizzie was first, so hey, Lizzie, Sanji, Krista Crow, and Lady Thistles so far in the comments. It is Monday, which means we made it through another weekend, uh, which is a good thing. But we were on Cat 5 of A Clash of Kings. If you've watched any of these videos, you know that we start with the brains of the operation. Richard, he will say what he saw in the chapter, and then I'll jump in with my stupid stuff. Uh, Forgot I
Wait,
had the headphones in.
did you introduce us?
I am old new dude. He is.
Richard York, Asher's newborn son.
You know how my
I
memory is.
I
I
don't think I
forget.
said that yet.
Yeah. What Sanjay say?
Oh, sorry.
Or Lizzie, Sanjay may have beat me. My time will come. Oh
No,
no,
yeah, no,
you're
you're
first in
first.
comments. All right. Well, hey, Sir Dave
How
Zilla,
did
man.
it, Dave?
Uh,
All right. Well,
glad you're
you already
feeling
said
better.
you already said we were getting started, and then I made us do the introduction and interrupted our start. But anyway,
That's okay.
um, so this is Clash 39, Catlin 5. Catlin and Ned's bones arrive at River Run. 2 days' ride from River Run, a scout spied them watering their horses beside a muddy stream. Catlin had never been so glad to see the twin tower badge of House Frey. I wonder whether Lady Stoneheart is actually more excited by Frey Banners than Catlin is here.
There
I'll be first Wednesday, says Sanji.
you go.
Lord Renly is slain, she added. We'd hoped that tale was some Lannister lie, or would that it were. My brother commands in River Run? Yes, my lady. His grace left Sir Edmure to hold River Run and guard his rear. God's granted him the strength to do so, Catlin thought, and the wisdom as well. Is there word from Robb in the West? You have not heard? The man seemed surprised. His grace won a great victory at Oxcross. Sir Stafford Lannister is dead, his host scattered. Cat is now better informed than most of Harrenhal. Does a stinger come to Riverrun, calls himself Ryman the Rhymer. He's made a song of the fight. Doubtless you'll hear it sung tonight, my lady. Wolf in the Night, this Ryman calls it. This might be one of the more successful singers in the story because we see a lot of less than fortunate singers.
Now, is this what, 7 strings?
Thomas Evans? No, I don't think so.
Oh,
That's certainly another singer that so far is doing all right. Without siege engines, there was no way to storm Castle Rock, so the young wolf was paying the Lannisters back in kind for the devastation they'd inflicted on the Riverlands. Right here. You could say that she'd kill to see that banner again.
that's pretty good, Dexter.
Lords Karstark and Glover were raiding along the coast. Lady Mormont had captured thousands of cattle and was driving them back toward Riverrun, while the Great John had seized the gold mines at Castamere, Nuns Deep, and the Pender Kills. Sir Wendell laughed. Nothing's more like to bring a Lannister running than a threat to his gold. How did the king ever take the... Actually, I did want to say something here, which is notice that Lady Mormont has captured thousands of cattle and driving them back toward Riverrun. This is completely different from burning people's food. This is gathering the food and taking it after somebody else stole all your food. The motive matters. People are always like, "Oh, Robb's guilty of the same war crimes." I'm like, I don't know. Your motive matters. Anyway, how did the king ever take the tooth? Sir Perwyn Frey asked his bastard brother. That's a hard, strong keep, and it commands the hill road. He never took it. He slipped around it in the night. It said the direwolf showed him the way, that grey wind of his. The beast sniffed out a goat track that wound down a defile and up along beneath a ridge, a crooked and stony way, yet wide enough for men riding single file. The Lannisters and their watchtowers got not so much a glimpse of them. Rivers lowered his voice. There's some say that after the battle, the king cut out Stafford Lannister's heart and fed it to the wolf. I would
That's
not believe...
another.
Go ahead.
Wait,
No,
well,
no,
that's
that's good.
another example of the wolves knowing things and having a purpose, understanding what their not master but their mate, their soulmate wants and needs, and either the wolf itself or someone working through the wolf has given them what they needed.
Surprised the Bear Islander can drive cattle, to be honest. I would not. Yeah, you're right though. It's very interesting, especially considering like this basically requires like godlike intervention at this point, right? Because it's not how would Greywind know that this route will get you past and keep you out of sight, right? I mean, it almost has to be the old gods intervening.
Yeah, it's exactly what Rob needed.
Yep. I would not believe such tales, Catelyn said sharply. My son is no savage. As you say, my lady, still, it's no more than the beast deserved. That is no common wolf, that one. I think we just said that. The great
Yeah.
John has been heard to say that the old gods of the north sent those dire wolves to your children, and apparently sent them around the Lannisters. Anyway.
Yeah. We
Catelyn
still
remembered the.
haven't completely decided who the old gods working through the wolves are, whether it's Bloodraven, Future Brand, or something else.
Or, as you've pointed out, perhaps there's two players, right?
Yeah.
This could be a time traveling game. We've talked about this as time travel, kind of like Quantum Leap, right? Where
Yeah.
George in his stories typically seems to buy the Quantum Leap argument, which is that old gods, future brand, tomato, tomato. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, George seems to write stories with the Quantum Leap style of time travel, the belief that basically free will allows you to make changes, but you can't make changes before you came into existence, right? And so you're basically able to alter people's thoughts, but not go against their character.
Right.
That's sort of our thought of what's potentially happening here. And then you've said that there might actually be two time travelers, essentially, that two old gods or whatever you want to call them, right? That are able to see what happens and go back and alter those decisions and play it forward.
Right.
And see,
Right.
see what.
There's two people playing a giant Cybass game using the Planetos as the board, and it's the time travel that each one uses to make their move. And it has to be something that the person desires already, but it might not be a big desire, but the time traveler can increase that desire to try to move that person. It's the same thing that
Right,
Littlefinger
right.
says.
And
Once,
and we've seen multiple hints that Bran can do time travel, and Bloodraven claims that he can't. And we've also talked about the fact that if you try and take over, we know that the way Second Life works, even if you go into the lowliest brained animal, eventually you become more and more of the animal. So, in theory, if Bloodraven were to try and grab Bran's brain, eventually it would be Bran with a touch of Bloodraven rather than Bloodraven with a touch of Bran.
well,
And
I,
so
I,
you could,
I have a theory
potentially.
that there are super green seers that have been leapfrogging through time. As soon as they get to the next green seer body and take it over, or skin changer, then they automatically start looking for the next body.
Yeah, there's just too many instances where the wolves make a very meta decision for the person. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
There's clearly some intervention going on.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's somewhat speculation, but you certainly, like you said, tomato tomato. Anyway,
There you go.
Catelyn remembered the day when her boys had found the pups in the late summer snows. There had been five, three male and two female, for the five trueborn children of House Stark, and a sixth, white of fur and red of eye, for Ned's bastard son, Jon Snow. No common wolves, she thought. No, indeed. Green seers that leapfrog. LOL, I see what you did there. Grey Wind deserves a human heart. Presumably that's good. Anyway, you mean to kill Stannis? Brienne closed her thick calloused fingers around the hilt of her sword, the sword that had been his. I swore a vow. 3 times I swore. You heard me. I did, Catelyn admitted. The girl had kept the rainbow cloak when she discarded the rest of her bloodstained clothing, she knew.
This is the first time that Brienne is using someone else's sword, the sword that belonged to Renly, and then eventually she'll be using the sword that belongs to Sir Jaime.
Right. So, she says, I swear it, I swear it, I swear it. And specifically, she's swearing to use that sword, which she doesn't even have going forward, right?
Yeah.
and yet, so I still think of Seaworth, Devon, or Davos, and I have to say Seaworth very clearly because Girl Nettles will complain that I sound like I'm saying something else. Anyway, better fit the pattern of sworn swords and King's Guards betraying those they swore to protect. But Brienne's triple oath would if she did fulfill her triple oath, it would guarantee that Stannis went to his grave thinking of his brother's Peach. So, I could
Yeah.
kind of see it going either
Well,
way.
I mean, whatever happens, and I know Lady Thistle's going to chime in with Jamie's going to die in the cave and everything, but she doesn't want to see me cry on camera, so hopefully she doesn't do that. Brienne is going to leave Stoneheart to head north, and that's either to save Arya, which is a vow that she made, or kill Stannis. Killing two
Okay.
birds with one stone.
Right,
So
right. She's got
I think
motivation, multiple motivations that could take her north. I like that.
right. Well, I mean, she's going to remind Lady Stoneheart, regardless of what happens to Jamie, or does not happen to Jamie, that she made these vows, and Stoneheart knows that she made these vows. Release her to go fulfill these vows. So yeah, I think Brienne's headed north after the cave. What happens to
Well,
Jamie? I don't know, but
well, I mean, I personally think that Jamie is actually going to be at the Quiet Isle, sort of like Davos is. I think Jamie is more valuable as a chess piece to move about for Stoneheart's revenge.
mind.
Okay. Um,
Mind.
I personally think that Jamie is going to begin the book move. Okay,
Okay.
revenge move. Revenge move. That makes sense. Yeah, of course I know right next to shit on the keyboard. The So I personally think that at the beginning of Wins, Jamie will be quote dead end quote, just like Davos, right? And people, I mean, he's done that so many times already, right? He's done it with we did some of those with the ruse last time, right? And we
Yeah.
didn't even talk about all the actual secret identities where Varys is Rugen and we would argue Dorcas and and Arya is Ari and Weasel and Nan and and Cat
Right.
and right and Santa is Elaine and there's so we didn't even do like half of the secret identities. They're already in the story and people are
Mhm.
like oh fans are having him do all these secret identities, but he doesn't do that. I'm like, he doesn't
Yeah.
really.
Well, I mean, I like you're comparing Jamie's um, death
Right,
with Brienne showing the golden hand, just like
right,
Lord
right. No, no.
Manderley did the chopped off fingers from Davos.
He's totally making it to the end. He's the hero. He's going to save the whole world, and then marry Brienne.
Yeah, that's what I told her the other day.
I
Brandon.
think, I think Varys is half of King's Landing sometimes. Yeah, but he's definitely Dorcas. Anyway.
All right, let's get back to the story. Sorry, we got off on a rant.
Yeah. That's all we need to talk. I was told there was a Davos Stewart mention. Yes.
Nettles.
Seaworth. Yeah, Devon or Davos, one of them. Anyway. Anyway, let's continue. I am not made to be a mother. I need to fight. Then fight, but for the living, not the dead. Renly's enemies and Rob's enemies as well. Brienne stared at the ground and shuffled her feet. Which, by the way, reminds me of Dunk.
Yeah.
I do not know your son, my lady. She looked up. I could serve you, if you would have me. Catelyn was startled. Why me? The question seemed to trouble Brienne. You helped me in the pavilion when they thought that you were innocent. If you think this has a happy ending. Even so, you did not have to do that. You could have let them kill me. I was nothing to you. Perhaps I did not want to be the only one who knew the dark truth of what had happened there, Catelyn thought. Brienne, I've taken many well-born ladies into my service over the years, but never one like you. I am no battle commander. No, but you have courage. Not battle courage, perhaps, but I don't know, a kind of woman's courage. And I think when the time comes, you will not try and hold me back. Promise me that you will not hold me back from Stannis. Catelyn could still hear Stannis saying that Rob's turn too would come in time. It was like a cold breath in the back of her neck. When the time comes, I will not hold you back.
That's what makes me think that she's going to let.
That there's an actual conversation coming.
Mhm.
Thistle says, "Sorry, I was late." LOL. The tall girl knelt awkwardly, unsheathed Renly's longsword, and laid it at her feet. Then I am yours, my lady, your liege man, or whatever you would have me be. I will shield your back and keep you counsel and give my life for yours if need be. I swear it by the old gods and the new. And I vow that you shall always have a place by my hearth and meat at my table, and pledge to ask no service of you that might bring you into dishonor. Yeah, good luck with that. I swear it by the old gods and the new. Arise. As she clasped the other woman's hands between her own, Catelyn could not help but smile. How many times did I watch Ned accept a man's oath of service? She wondered what he would think if she could see her now, if he could see her now. So obviously, Catelyn won't live up to her end of this agreement. It's debatable whether the pattern of sworn swords killing those they swore to points to Jon stabbing Daenerys, but I think it definitely points to Brienne turning on Lady Stoneheart.
I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Brienne is probably going to kill her. I mean, some people think it's Arya, but I think it's probably Brienne. Slow and careful, like, my lady, he warned as he took the bridle of her horse. We've planted iron spikes under the water, you see, and there's caltrops scattered among them rocks there. It's the same on all the fords, by your brother's command. Edmure thinks to fight here. The realization gave her a queasy feeling in the bowels, but she held her tongue. So Catelyn's feeling might be right. I love Edmure, but her instinct is onto something here.
Yeah.
If they were here again, it could only mean that Edmure had called them back. God save us, it's true. He means to offer battle to Lord Tywin. Seeking the glory of war is usually a mistake.
Yeah. But the amount of men that he says he can muster, I didn't think they had that many left. I mean,
we'll talk some more about this and how
yeah.
maybe this wasn't quite as bad. I mean, does it turn out right for him? Of course not. But maybe there was some better ideas here than people give him credit for. But anyway,
Right.
Brienne was with Renly when he was killed, as was I, said Catelyn. But we had no part in his death. She did not care to speak of the shadow here in the open with men all around, so she waved a hand at the bodies. Who are these men you've hanged? Edmure glanced up uncomfortably. They came with Sir Cleos when he brought the Queen's answer to our peace offer. Catelyn was shocked. You've killed envoys? Sir Dave, stab the like button and subscribe, or I will scorch your villages and raise your holdfast with fire and sword.
Thank you, Sir Dave.
False envoys, Edmure declared. They pledged me their peace and surrendered their weapons, so I allowed them freedom of the castle. And for 3 nights they ate my meat and drank my mead whilst I talked with Sir Cleos. On the 4th night they tried to free the Kingslayer. He pointed up. That big brute killed 2 guards with naught but those ham hands of his, caught them by the throats and smashed their skulls together, while that skinny lad beside him was opening Lannister's cell with a bit of wire. Gods curse him. The one in the end was some sort of damned mummer. He used my own voice to command that the river gate be opened. The guardsmen swear to it. Enger and Delp and Longloo, all 3. If you ask me, the man sounded nothing like me. The oaths were raising the porcos all the same. One thing that I would like to point out there is, if in a world where there's no recorded audio, you would not recognize your own voice.
No.
Well, he says, don't threaten me with a good time. Anyway. This was the imp's work, Catelyn suspected. It stank of the same sort of cunning he had displayed at the Eyrie. Once she would have named Tyrion the least dangerous of the Lannisters. Now she was not so certain. How is it you caught them? As it happened, I was not in the castle. I'd crossed the Tumblestone to, you were whoring or wenching, get on with the tale.
Yeah, I think that was a little intervention there also.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. It could have been, yeah.
Yeah, if he wasn't coming back, the Jamie would be leaving, and the path that's set for him wouldn't unfold the way it happened. So, I mean, I think there's some intervention from whoever's playing the game.
Also, earlier he was talking about people having hands as big as hams. He uses that phrase a lot.
Yeah.
Quite often, it's with people that we tend to think are likely to be from a certain Dornish family. Right? I mean, Marwyn and the elder brother slash the Mary. So, sorry, I'm blanking on the name of the knight, but the knight who's grown a beard that's perfect for covering up the square jaw of a mastiff. Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry for the threats. I was overcome by the spirit of Lord Tywin for a moment there. Anyway, all right, let's go on. Edmund's
Okay.
cheeks flamed as red as his beard. It was the hour before dawn, and I was only then returning. When Longlew saw my boat and recognized me, he finally thought to wonder who was standing below barking commands and raised a cry. Tell me the Kingslayer was retaken. Oh yeah, you're really worried about the Kingslayer being held. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, now not easily. Jamie got hold of a sword, slew Paul Pemford and Sir Desmond Squire Miles, and wounded Delp so badly that Maester Byman fears will soon die as well. It was a bloody mess. At the sound of steel, some of the other Redcloaks rushed to join him, bare hand or no. I hanged those beside the four who freed him, and threw the rest in the dungeons. Jamie, too, will have no more escapes from that one. He's down in the dark this time, chained hand and foot and bolted to the wall. And Cleos Frey? He swears he knew naught of the plot. Who can say? The man is half Lannister, half Frey, and all liar. I put him in Jamie's old tower cell. You say you brought terms? If you can call them that. You'll like them no more than I did, I promise. Can we hope for no help from the south, Lady Stark? Asked Authorities Wayne, her father's steward. This charge of incest. Lord Tywin does not suffer such slights lightly. He will seek to wash the stain from his daughter's name with the blood of her accuser. Lord Stannis must see that. He has no choice but to make common cause with us. Stannis has made common cause with the power greater and darker. He's definitely not making common cause with Robb.
No.
Who are all these folk? My people, Edmure answered. They were afraid. Only my sweet brother would crowd all these useless mouths into a castle that might soon be under siege. Catelyn knew that Edmure had a soft heart. Sometimes she thought his head was even softer. She loved him for it. Yet still. So, I don't know. It to me, it seems unlikely that there's going to be a long enough siege for this to matter.
Right.
If you at this time in this position. Now, when the Blackfish does this, he has very good reason to believe that there's nobody coming back anytime soon, right, to help him.
Yeah.
So that's a different scenario. But
right.
But anyway, I actually don't think that there's actually that much risk of a long siege right now here. And so this isn't that dumb of a move, and it's certainly one that we can love Edmure for.
Right. Well, I mean, isn't it the Lord's job to protect his small folk?
Sure. That's the feudal contract, right?
Yeah.
Can Robb be reached by Raven? He's in the field, my lady, Sir Desmond replied. The bird would have no way to find him. Authorities Wayne coughed. Before he left us, the young king instructed us to send you on to the twins upon your return, Lady Stark. He asked that you learn more of Lord Walder's daughters to help him select his bride when the time comes. We'll provide you with fresh mounts and provisions, her brother promised. You want to refresh yourself before. I want to stay, Catelyn said, dismounting. She had no intention of leaving Riverrun and her dying father to pick Robb's wife for him. Robb wants me safe. I cannot fault him for that. His pretext is growing threadbare. Family before duty or honor.
There you go.
When Lord Tywin went to Harrenhal, Bolton took the Ruby Ford and the crossroads. He has 10,000 men. I've sent word to Helmund Tallheart to join him with the garrison Robb left at the Twins. Edmure, Robb left those men to hold the Twins and make certain Lord Walder keeps faith with us. He has, Edmure said stubbornly. The Freys fought bravely in the Whispering Wood, and old Sir Stevrin died at Oxcross, we hear. Sir Ryman and Black Walder and the rest are with Robb in the west. Martin has been of great service scouting, and Sir Perwyn helped see you safe to Renly. Gods be good, how much more can we ask of them? Roth's betrothed to one of Lord Walder's daughters, and Roose Bolton wed another, I hear. And haven't you taken two of his grandsons to be fostered at Winterfell? A ward can easily become a hostage if need be. She had not known that Sir Stephen was dead, nor Bolton's marriage. If we're two hostages to the good, all the more reason Lord Walder dare not play us false. Bolton needs Frey's men, and Sir Helmund's as well. I've commanded him to retake Harrenhal. So, hey guys, Shopnell Joanne. Nice to have you here. So, obviously this is what allows them to plot more, right? And so this is a terrible thing, but I kind of see where Edmure is coming at the time of how he doesn't think that there's any risk to this, and there probably wouldn't have been if not for Rob potentially doing what Ned did and getting married to someone when he needs a marriage alliance with a powerful Riverlands lord.
Right. Well, I mean, even at the beginning of the chapter, it is said that he had left Lord Edmure to protect his rear, and having the Lannisters cross is stopping that is protecting
Right.
Rob's rear. So
Right.
Edmure's doing what he was told to do.
Right. And if the easiest way for him to hold his own castle as he's supposed to do,
Yeah,
he thinks you're right. He thinks that he's not supposed to let him get past. That's how
right.
he's interpreted the instruction.
That's
People,
Rob's fault for not being clear with
yeah,
the
and
Lord. I mean,
he's literally the highest person in the kingdom after Rob, right?
right.
He's they have two of the 8 or 9 regions, right? Well, can't say 7 kingdoms because they were part of the Iron Islands, but
Yeah.
two of the 8 or 9 regions, kind of the Crown Lands, and of the two, he's the other one who's ahead of one of them. Right? He's the closest thing to Rob's peer, and Rob hasn't let him in on the plan of what's going on here. But anyway,
Yeah, I mean, he's the closest thing to a small council for Rob.
Yeah. Anyway,
all right.
I've commanded him to retake Harrenhal. That's like to be a bloody business. Yes, but once the castle falls, Lord Tywin will have no safe retreat. My own levies will defend the fords of Red Fork against his crossing. If he attacks across the river, he'll end as Rhaegar did when he tried to cross the Trident. If he holds back, he'll be caught between River Run and Harrenhal. And when Rob returns from the west, we can finish him for good and all. Her brother's voice was full of brusque confidence, but Catelyn found herself wishing that Rob had not taken her Uncle Brynden west with him. The Blackfish was the veteran of 100 battles. Edmure was the veteran of 1, and that one lost. The plan's a good one, he concluded. Lord Tytos says so, and Lord Jonas as well. When did Blackwood and Bracken agree about anything that was not certain, I ask you? Be that as it may, she was suddenly weary. Perhaps she was wrong to oppose him. Perhaps it was a splendid plan, and her misgivings only a woman's fears. She wished Ned were here, or her Uncle Brynden, or... You asked Father about this? Father is in no state to waste strategies. 2 days ago, he was making plans for your marriage to Brandon Stark. Go see him yourself if you do not believe me. This plan will work, Cat. You'll see. I hope so, Edmure. I truly do. She kissed him on the cheek to let him know she meant it and went to find her father. So if Rob really did return and their combined forces smashed Tywin, this really might have been a good plan.
Yeah.
Too bad Edmure and Rob left each other in the dark with 2 great plans that relied upon the other one's coordination.
Yeah, this is true.
Edmure is a knight of summer, it seems. LOL. Yep.
Yes, I agree.
But it does seem like maybe that could have worked if he'd coordinated with Rob, or Rob's plan almost certainly would have worked if he'd coordinated better with Edmure.
Yeah, I mean they both had great plans. It's just they were opposing actions that needed to be taken.
Yeah. Father, she kissed him. I am returned. He seemed to know her then. You've come, he whispered faintly, lips barely moving. Yes, she said. Rob sent me south, but I hurried back. South? Where? Is the Erie south, sweetling? I don't recall. Oh, dear heart, I was afraid. Have you forgiven me, child? Tears ran down his cheeks. You've done nothing that needs forgiveness, Father. She stroked his limp white hair and felt his brow. The fear still burned him from within, despite all the maester's potions. They're both too green, no experience.
Yeah,
that's probably true. It was best, her father whispered. John's a good man, good, strong, kind. Take care of you. He will. And well born. Listen to me. I'm your father. Your father. You'll wed when Cat does. Yes, you will. He thinks I'm Lysa, Catelyn realized. Gods be good. He talks as if we were not married yet. Her father's hands clutched at hers, fluttering like 2 frightened white birds. That stripling, wretched boy, not speak that name to me. Your duty, your mother, she would, Lord Hoster cried as a spasm of pain washed over him. Oh, gods, forgive me, forgive me, forgive me, my medicine. And then Maester Vyman was there, holding the cup to his lips. Lord Hoster sucked at the thick white potion as eager as a babe at the breast, and Catelyn could see peace settle over him once more. Lysa will not come. If you wrote her yourself, perhaps. I'll put some words to paper if that please you. She wondered who Lysa's wretched stripling had been. Some young squire or hedge knight, like as not. though by the vehemence with which Lord Hoster had opposed him, he might have been a tradesman's son or base-born apprentice, even a singer. Lysa had always been too fond of singers. I must not blame her. John Aaron was 20 years older than our father, however noble. We know who Lysa's wretched stripling is.
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah. Also, in the back of my mind, don't trust the maester. He's right there with medicine. Some days the Lord Tully is good, and some days he's not. I think there's more going on there.
Yeah, he may be preventing him from communicating clearly. That's possible.
Well, I mean, they talk about a fever, and nothing takes it away. A fever took John Aaron. Aaron was 20 years older than Hoster or whatever his name is. I mean, right. there could be some meddling from the maester in what's going on.
Yeah. So Dave says Lysa was always fond of singers. Yep.
What's that guy's name? Marillion?
Yep.
Okay.
Littlefinger is singing her some type of songs, all right. Yep, that's a good point, Sanji. Bones, Catelyn thought. This is not Ned. This is not the man I love, the father of my children. That is not his sword. Ice was not returned to us, my lady, authorities said. Only Lord Eddard's bones. I suppose I must thank the Queen for even that much. Thank the imp, my lady. It was his doing. One day I will thank them all. Now that's some serious foreshadowing.
Oh, yeah.
I am grateful for your service, sisters, Catelyn said, but I must lay another task upon you. Lord Eddard was a Stark, and his bones must be laid to rest beneath Winterfell. They will make a statue of him, a stone likeness, that will sit in the dark with a direwolf at his feet and a sword across his knees. Make certain the sisters have fresh horses and aught else they need for the journey, he told Authorities Wayne. Hal Mullen will escort them back to Winterfell. It is his place as captain of guards. She gazed down at the bones that were all that remained of her lord and love. Now leave me, all of you. I would be alone with Ned tonight. Bolin and Grey bowed their heads. The Silent Sisters do not speak to the living, Calvin remembered dully, but some say they can talk to the dead, and how she envied that. So Dolorous Ed is less enthusiastic with this concept of talking to the dead, but then again, Catelyn is one of the dead, and some can talk to her. So
yeah, she has a hard time talking to the living.
Yeah, but some of them understand her. She may not thank them all, but she sends some serious regards. LOL.
Now, how much she says this isn't Ned laying here?
Right. And Jaime was like promising Cleos's bones to Gemma, right?
Yeah.
His mother, Cleo's mother, not Joanna Lannister, obviously, but yeah. Anyway, so and he's like that's no problem. Who cares? It's just bones, right? And so right. The idea that Tyrion might have felt the same way, that maybe they didn't really keep Ned's body so that they would know exactly which bones to send back. Now, right. There's no indication that happened, but you could see, like, would they even mention to Tyrion if they didn't know which bones were Ned's, or would they just grab some bones? Right? It might not even be Tyrion coordinated it. It might just be you order somebody to send bones. Like I think it's safe to actually, I know it's safe to say, we believe that when a certain Dornish prince died at the Trident, and we believe that we've seen a person who said that he died at the Trident who is that Dornish prince. But anyway, that he Tywin sent bones to back to no, actually it was John. It was actually John Aaron. John Aaron, the Hand of the King, sent bones to. So the Hand of the King sent a Dornish prince's bones to Dorne.
That right? We don't think were his bones.
And then another Hand of the King, Tywin, agreed to send the killer of a Dornish princess's bones to Dorne.
Yeah,
not that skull. And if
didn't John Aaron deliver the bones himself?
And if Preston is right and burned bones prove nothing, then Barristan, the Hand of the Queen, is sending false burned bones back to Dorne of a Dornish prince.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Lannister sends their regard. So up next is Clash 40, Daenerys 3. Danny decides to seek out Piet Pri.
I can't believe we're way past halfway, and Danny's only got this is her third chapter.
Yeah,
She kind of takes. I mean, her chapters are good. Don't get me wrong, but she kind of takes a back seat to what's going on between King's Landing and the Westeros tale of the story. Because we got what 8 chapters for Arya and Tyrion. This is Cat's fifth. Sansa's had what 4? Shopnell says Cat's chapters are his favorite.
Yes.
Now I'll go ahead and tell you when I first started reading these books on the first and second read, which I think this right here would be my 7th read. I did not like Cat's chapters. I did not like Bran's chapters.
Yeah, Sansa's already had 3, so she's actually running a little ahead of Danny until this next chapter.
Yeah, what's the name of people who do? What's that say?
Corner? Autopsies. Corner.
Oh, Corner.
Forrest needs serious forensics help. Yes, given all the fake bones floating around. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, George is setting something up with the actions that he's taking with the bones that are being sent. And I agree with Preston Jacobs on the. Is it Preston Jacobs on the?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's the one that. I agree with him that it's ambiguous, and he's even said he doesn't know that George will go that way. He's just saying if you have Arya take an axe to the back of the head and not kill her, or you have Mance Rayder burned in front of you, or and then there's a few clues that there's something not quite right there going on, right? And people are like, oh, Barristan sees him die. No, Barristan specifically says that he doesn't recognize that corpse, and that but they say it's him, and he doesn't. But then there's also hints that there are definite hints that they're lying. So, and he goes through the hints that they're definitely concealing
it's a really
something.
good video. Yeah.
I think George would really like that. Whether or not, no matter which way he goes with it, I think George believes he can go either way there, and I think that he probably will keep him dead just because the story is too big and needs to collapse.
He's having to cut out the Danny goes to shy and all that stuff.
He may be a victim of the weeds of winter, as we like to say, or at least I like to say. I think he likes that. Lizzie says Lady Dustin's sitting around grumbling and wondering why her authentic Ned Bone voodoo dolls aren't working.
Yeah.
So Dave said Sansa's chapters were hard for me. Anyway.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the easiest chapters for me to read were, of course, John's, Arya's. Bran's were a little hard for me to read. I usually just kind of sped through Bran's. But as the reread has gone and the books have gone forward, they haven't gone forward for over 10 years, but as the book series went, each book, the development of each character, it became, even though I knew what was going to happen in their next chapter, I became not. I was worried for the character because even though I know what was going to happen, Lord Snow. Thank you, Chris. I liked the characters even more and more, and on the rereads, I enjoyed the chapters. It's like Cats were like one of my least favorite, but now there's so much information in Cats chapters, you can't help but like them.
And I've told you that's why I actually think Bran's chapters are my favorite, because I feel like that's where we're getting the most insight into what's really going on with magic and potentially time travel and so forth, right?
Yeah. So
Dave says that Babs Dustin definitely has Ned voodoo dolls.
Well, I mean, George says that the magic is growing with each story. I tend to disagree with that. I think the same amount of magic has been in each book. It's just that we didn't know what we were seeing. What's Shopnell say?
Shopnell says Sansa and Jaime's chapters are fun.
Oh yeah, Jaime's right now. I mean, I know Lady Pistol's gonna bomb me on this, but Jaime's are my favorite to read once he gets his own chapters and leaves. Well, actually, even before that, I mean, the whole time he's with Brienne. I mean, he's one of my favorite characters. Sorry.
No,
Um,
I agree. I think that the growth that we see in Jamie and Theon and Sansa are make them some of my favorites. Yeah, it took me a couple reads to catch all the stuff George was doing. LOL.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, definitely the
Probably
first.
still haven't. We probably
Yeah,
still
there's a
haven't.
lot that I haven't caught. I mean, it might take an eighth, ninth, or 10th read um,
Exactly.
to catch every little thing that George puts in there to give him options for the weeds of winter. I mean,
Yep.
he didn't want to limit himself because, I mean, we already know that his draft has changed from the original draft. Uh, so I don't know if he knows exactly where it's going to end up at.
One of the things that I think it's important I like to acknowledge the flaws in the characters. I like to acknowledge that Jamie killed Jory. That there are significant hints that the abuse that John was taking in that chapter was a pattern of abuse. Right? He's terrified to go. I don't know any kid that is terrified to go near someone because they ignore them. Like he
Yeah.
is terrified to go near Catelyn, and Rob is kind of terrified for him. Right? Rob's like, uh-oh, I can tell that you're down in the dumps. That means my mom's been abusing you again, hasn't she? Right? I mean, and then people are like, there's no evidence that Catelyn ever was mean to John outside of this chapter. I'm like, what?
Well, I
He
mean,
says
in the
once
debate,
once I would have cried and run away. Uh-oh.
oh,
Why is it lost connection to my camera? Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
That's really weird. It says you've lost connection to your camera. Like, I'm on my phone. How is that possible?
I do not know. I'll go ahead and read for Dave's. Well, yeah, you'll never get it all. He's a wizard. I was so over my head the first time through. Lady Nettles. I was getting ready to talk about the debate.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. It's part of it. Yeah, I don't know what to do about this. Anyway, let's go back to solo layout for you. Everybody can just look at you because
Oh,
I can't.
there you go. You got the hat. That's all that
I'm
matters.
just a disembodied voice now.
There you go. Sanji, all that.
That cat spitter
They're
kicked you.
kicking you. Yeah.
Yeah, and Jamie too, right? And anyway,
Oh, yeah.
My point is that you know the character is supposed to be complicated. I think Ned is a oath breaker who beheads oath breakers and judges Jamie as an oath breaker, and tells us that the oath breakers are the worst, basically.
Yeah. Well, it was funny. I want to say Friday is either chat or in the Discord. Uh, the Jamie bashing started, and then I started in with no, he's going to save the world. I mean, and then it continued into book club because it was like I mean, there were people. I mean, 10 and like they were just piling in on Jamie.
Yep, I'm literally faceless. Sir Richard is in the Weirwoods now.
So Richard is in the Weirwoods now. There you go. Out of the two of us, you would be the one to enter the Weirwoods for sure.
Thank you.
Like Lizzie and Lady Thistle, and I'm assuming some of the other ones I haven't actually got to pick their brain, but you're kind of like an encyclopedia when it comes to knowledge.
Thank you, sir.
I can't remember shit. So, all right. Well, seeing as how we've lost your face, Chapter 40, Daenerys 3 on Wednesday, same bat time, same bat channel. I want to thank everybody that joined us. We are up to 8 people today. That's great. What did Lizzie say?
Not piling on, losing facts.
Yeah, there you go. We will see y'all Wednesday. Y'all have a good week so far, and y'all take it easy. Bye, Richard's ghost.
You too. Bye.
Have a good one.
You too.